My own development, it was that I was in charge of something which had a $12 million budget and 2 years to run. So that it brought a different level of experience in administration and things of that sort. The genesis of it was that Fred Friendly left CBS, and Mac Bundy was the head of the Ford Foundation. And an issue at the time was, should there be something called public television? It wasn't even called public television, it was educational television. And more than that, it was a series of individual stations that had no network. Each station was different. And any piece that was done, any documentary that was done, any performance that was done, was not shown simultaneously across the country. It was shown in New York on Thursday, and it would be, as we said, bicycled around to Chicago on Wednesday, and so it didn't have much of an impact. And Fred felt that if there was a network that had simultaneous transmission, whatever was on that transmission would have more of an impact and therefore be better. So he convinced the Ford Foundation to put up $12 million, and they hired me to run it. It was going to be a magazine show, which was pre-60 Minutes, series of 3 or 4 pieces. Some of them had a particular political edge. I remember we did a whole series of so-called anti-smoking commercials, and we did a whole series of, I wouldn't say exposés, because that today has the meaning of something detailed and long, but we examined not fraudulent, overblown product claims. I remember there was one that we did about some gasoline, I think it was Shell, which claimed that it had an additive that improved it. Well, we found out that in fact that additive was not only in Shell, it was in every gasoline being sold. But that the price of Shell was affected by the fact that they were spending $88 zillion in advertising of the thing. So it was that kind of hardly detailed exposés, but it was that sort of thing. And we ran into a buzzsaw almost immediately. Remember, I said that the universe was a series of television stations which were desperate for money. And along comes this entity which is going to prove that the individual station should be subordinated to a network which was taking all the money they felt from them. So the stations essentially went out of their way to trip us on the way, up. I remember one station saying they would not carry the program because of this commercial that I just mentioned. Why? Because one of their major contributors in wherever it was the oil company. It was Shell, and they weren't going to have us do something that was essentially potentially embarrassing to them. So we never got any traction in that regard. The second thing is that we were the level of development of the stories was, I mean, I now know, having done documentaries and special reports and everything else since then, was really amateurish. That was, I guess, what Fred bought when he bought me. But we tried, and it lasted 2 years, and did demonstrate that a network was a good idea. But the quality of what we were putting on did not cause PBL to last.